Good evening, race fans, and welcome here to Texas Motor Speedway for the BOOSTPerformance.ca 200. Here with All-American ARCA Series, my name is Mason Heimbaugh, bringing you tonight's action in 1080p 60 frames a second with Team Goon Squad, as always, covering for James Deese as he is on his, I believe, his first real-life attempt at driving a vehicle with four wheels on a racetrack in a 24-hour race. So good luck to James out there. We are here today to watch everyone here in the All-American ARCA Series to take 200 miles around the 200 kilometers around the track here today. 134 laps we will be taking as drivers have about a minute left in their current qualifying. We'll see if we can catch any drivers that are currently on track. It looks like Dennis Weeks Jr. is going to be the only driver that is currently out on track. He's currently putting any lap time down at the moment. You can see here as well what that time actually is being set by that number 97 machine of the Outlaw Racing driver Dennis Weeks Jr. Going to be wrapping up his qualifying here, and so far it seems like we are going to have a field of about 33, potentially 35 drivers here today. So quite the field that we will have here at Texas Speedway tonight. And I hope everyone is excited and ready for the action that we have here, as we have our grid. Mike Husby starting it out in first place, Johnny Ecker in second, Michael Vandermeed in third, Finley Fitzsimmons in fourth, Andrew McGonigal in fifth, Zach Rogers in sixth, Casey Carrington in seventh, Zach Roethlisberger in eighth, Will Barbaghetta in ninth place, Brandon Barkuski in 10th, Ron White in 11th, James Silvers in 12th place, Christopher Heller in 13th, Elliot Henderson in 14th, Matthew Weeks in 15th, Lane Doyle in 16th, Alex Penn in 17th, Brad Delph in 18th, David Westergreen in 19th, Radburn Shutters in 20th, Clay Cantrell in 21st, Davis Warren in 22nd, Josh Simpson Jr. in 23rd, Kyle Hall in 24th, Mark Proctor in 25th, Tyler Evans in 26th, Justin Ray in 27th, Cody McCorkle in 28th, Andrew Neri in 29th, Randy Bonami in 30th, Nick Terrell in 31st, Craig Martin in 32nd, Dennis Weeks Jr. in 33rd, Robert Hill Jr. in 34th, and Johnny Hickox in 35th. Rounding out the field here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway, and our drivers are going to begin to follow behind the pace car for their first few laps here at Texas Motor Speedway for the Boost Performance 200. Once again, I'd like to give a big shout out and thank you to BOOSTPerformance.ca for putting on this event and sponsoring this race. We are going to see some fantastic racing from a lot of great drivers. We can see Mike Husby, also a driver who is not driving as a replacement. He is out here driving for himself in his very own number 23 machine, with Johnny Eckert on the outside in his Outlaw Racing number 90. There it goes. Pace car is going to dive in, and our green flag will fly for the very first time for these drivers. And there he goes, Mike Husby on the bottom line, trying to take off on the rest of the field here. He's going to get quite a bit of a distance between himself and Michael Vandermeed in that number 7 machine, leaving a gap now for Johnny Eckert. There he goes, dropping in between number 23 and the number 7, taking that number 2 spot, securing that for himself. Looking back further, though, in the field, You can see the battles brewing up just for even third, fourth, fifth place. Even look further back, it continues to keep brewing. Right now, it looks like Michael Vandermeer in that number 7 machine has quite the pressure building up for him for fourth place, as he has two drivers side by side. The number 94 in the 57, Zach Rogers in the 57, Andrew McGonigal in that number 94. Oh, you can see there, the 94 starting to push a little bit harder. Andrew McGonigal getting on the bottom side of Michael Vandermeer, taking that low line. Is Michael going to be able to hold on to that position? It does not look like he's going to be able to, as Andrew is going to overtake that position now, putting pressure on Finley Fitzsimmons in that 06 machine. Going to leave that 06 kind of helpless, as that low line seems to be working incredibly well for most of these guys here that want to work their way up the field. Right now, it almost seems like the guys out in front have kind of took it away from everyone, as everyone is starting to battle it out here out in front. And honestly, that's to be expected here, I would have to say. Apologies for that. But as we have Andrew McGonigal still duking it out, well, still leading the rest of the field for third place position currently, as we have Mike Husby and Johnny Eckert still out in their lonesome duking it out for first and second place. But right there you see the 57 and the 06 machine going too wide there. Extremely close to one another, looking very, very well. They actually gave each other a lot of space there, not getting too close to one another, not wanting to cause a wreck. Very smart thing to do here in this race. That everyone, I was trying to figure out why the SDK was showing the improper information that I wanted to show you guys, so that way you can keep up with the race yourself at home. And I will continue to work on it and continue to talk as much as I possibly can here, figure out what is going on there. But as the race continues on here, we have the number 94 out in front for third place now, with a whole lot of other drivers now trying to get in some of that action here. We're going to try and see a little bit of a wider view of what's happening down on track currently. And I apologize, Joseph, I just saw your message, but our first caution comes out. Looks like Andrew Neri is going to be involved in a crash here with Team Goon Squad. Let's see what happened. With Andrew Neri in the 654 machine. Now, looks like he's down on the bottom of the track here. Let's back things up here just a little bit and see what a lot of spins. A lot of spinning here. All right. So we're looking at the 654 of Andrew Neri. He's going to be in the middle line on the outside of everyone else, and there he goes. It starts to see his rear end get away from him, taps the 77, and up he goes into the wall. The top of the track. Oh, major damage there. It looked like his front passenger side wheel completely came apart from the car, and takes another nasty hit from the 05. Trying to find that. Looks like the 05 of Radburn Shutters. Unfortunate to see that happen for Andrew Neri. He's probably going to find himself down in pit road for quite some time. That's going to be quite a bummer, and I hate to see it for Mr. Andrew, as that's going to put him back quite significantly here in this race. But as we have a moment here, I'm going to see what I can do about fixing the silliness behind Alrighty, interesting. So I'm not sure what's happening with software today, but it's acting a little strange. So we're gonna work with it. We're gonna try and work around it as much as we possibly can here, and use what we have as much as we can. So it looks like we are going to be using mostly our timing tower today. I suppose that kind of works as well. We'll simmer on that for a little bit, but I apologize for that, folks, for everyone watching at home. Let me check that, Joseph, and see if that is something. It does not appear to be. All right, everybody. Well, now that we have come to the conclusion that I am just kind of stuck with what we have on screen here, I'm genuinely not sure what's going on there. It's kind of baffling me. This has never happened before, so these things do happen, so it's to be expected, but definitely a little annoying. A little frustrating sometimes when you're trying to serve a live production, but hey, that's the nature of broadcasting. It's not always a perfect endeavor. Just like racing. Just like the sport of racing, or practically any sport that you can play. But lap 12 here of 134 Texas Motor Speedway, here with All-American ARCA for the Boost Performance 200. I have to say the racing has been quite fantastic. The first caution that we've had here was, I would say, minor. It definitely got a few more drivers involved than probably would have liked to see, but hey, that's racing. And pace cars coming down into pit road, and we are going to see the green flag fly here one more time. Mike Husby taking the lead this time, and with an aggressive gap here as well, with Andrew McGonigal and Johnny Eckert in second and third place respectively. Andrew McGonigal trying to get away from that number 90 of Johnny. Johnny getting it down low, seeing what he can find here speed-wise. As he drops it down low, he's going to be able to take it for second place, and it looks like he is. And he's going to find a little bit more speed as he gets away from that number 94 of Andrew McGonigal. Now Andrew has the 135 of Will Barbagalata. I wanted to make sure I had to get that right. Will Barbagalata in that 135, now taking it in third place, with Andrew McGonigal following behind in fourth place. Brandon Barkuski now in fifth in that number 25. Going to be following behind, trying to get closer and closer to that number 94 and make an attempt at a pass here, but it seems to be that we might have to do that on the low end here. It seems like that middle to high line is not exactly the preferred one for overtaking. You might be able to hold it out there for a little bit, but definitely doesn't seem like that's the spot where you want to be to try and overtake somewhere like here at Texas. But to each their own. Some drivers definitely are a little bit more confident than others and have some tricks up their sleeves that we just maybe haven't seen yet. Lap 16 of 134 though. Right now I'm thinking that a lot of these guys are going to be considering just saving these tires, trying to just hold out as long as they possibly can, not abuse their cars too much here. I believe we only have 85% of fuel. We get 3 sets of tires as well. So with 134 laps, that's definitely a long time to go. But it's definitely very easy to burn up your tires if you're trying to be over aggressive the entire time. But at that point, I would assume that you're probably going to run out of fuel before you have to change tires, but that might just be me. All right, but currently, let's actually have a look back with our leaders currently, as we saw them just for a moment ago. Mike Husby has taken it away with the lead right now. He's got nearly a gap of a half a second from himself to Johnny Eckert, so doing a great job there. And then working our way just a little bit further back. We've already got down to just over a second and a half to first place. So that time has increased just in two places. Whether or not that's going to change anytime soon, well, that's probably not going to happen unless Mike Husby and Johnny Eckert catch the back of the field and start to get into lap traffic and slow down a little bit. But that's going to take some time here. As you can see on the bottom right-hand side of your screen as well, and it's cut off there just a little bit at the bottom towards where the checkered line is. But you can see how the field is stacked up currently. And right now, the only driver that is looking to actually get lapped here again is going to be the 65, John Simpson Jr., Team Old Geezer Motorsports. Not having a good race, it seems like, for himself today. As the 23 of Mike Husby, Johnny Eckert are going to be closing in on that 65 very quickly. So not a whole lot of lap traffic. One car. Not really a whole lot going to be involved there, but if we look deeper into the rest of the field, we have cars still battling all over the track here. You can see Elliot Henderson in the number 37, Team 2511 Racing Machine trying to battle it out for a 6th place spot currently. He's following behind. I believe right now that is the number 9, Casey Carrington, trying to hold out that 6th spot currently. Defending it up from the 37 of Elliot Henderson. These guys are forming a bit of a line behind them. There's quite a bit of a gap between them. So whether or not these guys are going to be catching up to one another, or at least building a longer string of drivers here, it's kind of a question here. It seems like we have a few drivers that seem to just pair up and drive away from the rest of the field. Mike Husby, Johnny Eckert being one of them. And it seems like we have Elliot Henderson and Casey Carrington starting to do exactly the same thing. But looking behind them, Andrew McGonigal, who had an excellent start at the beginning of the race here, is down 2 positions from where he started, so he was in 5th where he started today in this race, and unfortunately he's found himself down into 7th place now, defending it from Zach Roethlisberger, who is 8th place currently where he started in this race. So a lot of these guys, again, are going to be playing the tire strategy. They're going to be saving those tires as much as they possibly can, trying to save that fuel. They don't want to burn out these cars too quickly, too early. If you want to try and take the undertake, as I assume there will be a pit stop for this race, at least I would hope so. And if you try and take that undertake, you want to make sure that you are prepared for it and are make it to that point. Now, it's a little bit easier to make it to the undertake, but if you're not able to, you still have to make sure that you are able to make it into pit road after the fact, or just in general. Definitely don't want to find yourself in a situation where you're having to come into pit road and slowing down. You're caught with a speeding penalty or find yourself in the wall. Any of those cases, definitely just you have to keep those things in the back of your mind when you're racing out here, especially in these longer style races where you're seeing 100 plus laps, 134 here at Texas Speedway. Right now, Mike Husby is still our leader in the race. He's done a fantastic job. Johnny Eggert has been on that chase for quite some time. And let's see if we can have a quick ride on board here with one of our drivers. Let's ride on board with one Brandon Bartkowski in the number 25 machine, who's currently 4th place. Let's see how he's doing up there and just listen to how that 25 is doing and what the track is like for him. See there, the 37. Actually, no, I believe that's the number 9 of Casey Carrington, if I'm not mistaken. Let's get out of view here. That is the number 9 of Casey Carrington down on the bottom line with the 25 of Brandon Bartkowski down on the outside. Ooh, but we have a caution out on track here. Let's take a look at what happened here real quickly. Looks like David Westergreen possibly involved in this one here. Looks like the 97. Let's take things back here just a little bit. We'll even go a little bit wider just to see exactly how things unfold here. You can see the 97 got a little sideways there for a minute, tried to correct, got down into the bottom of the track. The 17 got him to him just a little bit, sent him sideways again. The 93, unable to go anywhere, gets into the door of the 93 of David Westergreen. And that's going to serve up our second caution flag for this race here today. And someone in chat, too easy for Proctor. Gotta love that one. All right, as we follow around the track here with some of our drivers who are making their way behind the pace car, getting themselves lined up here for another attempt to get some more laps in here. Lap 33 of 134. We are still a long ways to go before we see the checkered flag. All right, some of the drivers making their way out of pit road now as well. It looks like Davis Warren now making his way out as well. Joining the field, we saw some drivers getting waved around the pace car to unlap themselves, put themselves back on the lead lap here. You can see just how much the field is stacked up here. Patty Heller giving a shout out to the number 25 and the number 11, Christopher Heller, as well as Brandon Barkowski. And here we go. Pace car is down into pit road, waiting for that green flag to fly, and there it goes. Andrew McGonigal on the outside of the number 90 of Johnny Eckert. Johnny's going to find himself following behind the 94. Isn't going to try and even challenge the speed of that 94 as he gets a very, very impressive launch with the 135 of Will Barbagletta following behind in third place right now. He's got the 23 of Mike Husby following behind closely, trying to get a little bit closer, maybe possibly offer a little draft. But as I say that, it would appear that we have entered our third caution here. I'm trying to find exactly, there it is. That's strange. I'm not sure what happened, folks. So there was a yellow flag came out, but I am not seeing a particular incident that involves a driver. They might have requested a tow quicker than I could have picked it up. I'm not sure. We're kind of having all kinds of weird problems with our software today. We're gonna have to go ahead and give it a good old knock on the side of the panels, if you know what I mean. You know, you don't have to give it a good kick every now and then. Probably wasn't built right. We also have a supporter giving their love to Team Porsche, ARCA Sport. Keep it up, Delph and Penn. That's going to be Brad Delph in the number 14 and Alex Penn in the number 30. Now that we've had our third caution as well, looks like everyone except a few drivers that have decided to put it behind the wall, they're not going to be participating in the rest of the race. Looks like everyone has went into pit road this last time around, lap 31, so not exactly sure who took what, or if they took anything at all. Could have been just fuel. On the rear restart near front. Nice. I was too busy looking at my software being annoying and I didn't notice. Thank you, Will Barbs, for paying attention for me, pointing things out for me so I can do my job just a little bit better. Appreciate it. When we have people that are pointing things out for us even in the booth that we sometimes miss, don't notice, because we're too busy rambling on about something else. It doesn't help when you have, well, it does help, but it definitely takes some practice to get used to. To get ready for our fourth attempt here at Texas Speedway, and the green flag is going to fly as our pace car has gone into pit road, and we are racing here once again with the 94, taking another impressive lead on the rest of the field. Johnny Eckert still doing another fantastic job of just staying on the chase of that number 94, being as consistent as you possibly can on those restarts. And speaking of consistency, he's going to take that low line here going into turns 3 and 4. It's going to play in his favor. It is for just a moment as he has the 135 of Will Barbagalata, sorry, excuse me, I keep getting that incorrect. 135 of Will Barbagalata, staying behind Johnny Eckert, able to take second place now. Both of these drivers now have Brandon Barkuski in the 25 in third place, going to be chasing them down now as well. So all three of these drivers are going to be pulling away from the rest of the field, and now we have a battle for fourth place. Going to be rounding out the top 5 finishes for these guys here. Let's see who is going to finish where and who's going to do exactly what. Right now, we're looking at Mike Husky in the number 23 machine. He is in 5th place, currently behind Elliot Henderson in the 37. Trying to chase him down, doing what he possibly can here as well. Let's take a little bit further look back as well, as these guys are starting to be a little bit single file. We can see just a little bit further back, some of these guys are going 3 wide for some of these positions. Right now, the 14 of Brad Delph saw himself in a 3-wide moment there just a few hundred feet ago. But right now, Brad is going to find himself in 12th place currently, doing a fantastic job holding it out in front of Ron White in the number, that's going to be Alex Penn in the number 30 behind him in that Porsche ARCA Sport machine. And right now, a lot of these guys are starting to look very single file. We'll even try and go up to our blimp here in just a moment, just to give you a better idea of what that looks like. And you can see the amount of space between these guys and how much space they're giving each other, which is always a good thing to keep the racing clean and keep it consistent. But it definitely can make the race feel a little bit slow sometimes. You start to see the distance between yourself and the guy in front of you start to slowly fade away. It's just the nature of how these cars work out over time. The variations in your tires, the aero on your cars, whether or not you get into incidents where it affects the bodywork on your vehicle, how much fuel you have. There's quite a few things that come into play here. But right now on your screen, you can see Alex Penn in the number 30 getting absolutely close to the number 14, Brad Delph. So it looks like Alex is wanting to work his way up the field as well and maybe crack himself into the top 10. That might be a possibility. We'll see if he's going to be able to do so here tonight. Let's look back just a little bit further. Christopher Heller in the number 11 machine in 15th currently. He's going to be kind of the leader. If you're looking at the track map on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, you'll kind of notice that there's a split between the field here. Right now, you can kind of consider Christopher the leader of that second split, if you will. You could almost say there's three if you really look close enough, but I don't want anyone getting too close to their screen, so please don't strain your eyes if you didn't need to already. Lap 48 of 134. So far, so good. We are getting closer and closer to the halfway point of this race. And right now, if I was going to make any predictions, if I was going to make an assumption as to who is going to win tonight's race, well, if I had to base it off of just where everyone is at in the grid right now, where everyone's at on track and how they're performing, Johnny Eckert looks the most promising. However, there could be another driver within, I would say Brandon Barkowski could be another driver that could win it. Will could also win it as well in the 135. Well, I am honestly not the greatest at predicting who's going to win in a lot of these cases, but I know that I've seen Johnny Eckert do very well in these long runs. I'm just curious how that's going to play out when there's still about 80 laps or so to go, 82 laps to go in this race, and you have to lead that entire time. Yeah, so there's definitely some big question marks. We definitely have to have those answered before we can make any assumptions, but right now it seems to be that Johnny's doing a good job and that he might be able to pull away with the win here, as we're just taking a quick little looky-loo at how he's doing out in the front of the field, all in his lonesome, with nearly, actually exactly a second gap between himself and Robert Galata in second place currently in the 135, as our fourth caution flies onto the track. We are going to see if we can identify what happens here in this situation. We're just looking at what could possibly cause this one here. And it does not look like we are going to be provided anything useful to tell us what it was. So that's going to, I'm going to blame that one on the software yet again. That seems to be the trend for the night. That's all right. With that in mind, we are actually going to take a very quick commercial break, and we will be right back in just a minute.
Driver Carrington gets dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona, the big one is out.
Alright folks, we are back, still following behind the pace car, getting our drivers lined back up here for another attempt here at Texas Motor Speedway. And I do have to mention, for all the folks at home that may not be aware or are new to racing or just not familiar with Texas Speedway in general, this is the older layout of the track, old paving, if you will, from I believe 2008. So we are all of these racers are driving on a older style version of the track, and if I am not mistaken, this one is a little bit looser on some turns. I believe turn 3 is where it gets. All right, I want to say it's either the exit of turn 2 or the entry of turn 3. It's a little interesting. I have to dig a little bit to recall if that's correct. It's been a while since I've been here to Texas, so it's good to be back here with the All-American ARCA series for another race here. Texas Motor Speedway for the BOOSTPerformance.ca 200. And again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight and showing their support for their favorite drivers. If you have enjoyed the broadcast so far, hit that like button, and if you would like to stay tuned on some more of the action that we have throughout the week, hit that subscribe button as well, as we have broadcasts nearly 7 days a week now. We are getting closer and closer to that point. And a commenter in chat hitting the turn the name of the commenter. Says, exit of turn 2 can get loose here due to the transition. Car can act tight through the corner, and then too much wheeling. It can make the rear end snap around. Give you a little bit more of an informed view of what it's like here at Texas Motor Speedway. If you were behind the wheel on track. And there we go. The pace car finally makes its way down into pit road here yet again, and we are going to see that green flag fly for our drivers. And here we go. Johnny Eckert is going to have an opportunity to lead this race now with Mike Husby on his tail with the 135 of Will Barbagalata on the outside. He's starting to lose a little bit of pace, though, as he has a train beneath him starting to form. And now he's going to find himself down into 4th place with, I believe, Brandon Barkuski on his beneath him, taking that low line. Looks like Brandon is going to be able to overcome that 135. Oh, the 135 getting a little bit shaky there for just a second, but able to hold on to it, keeping it together. Still racing here. Brandon Barkuski on that low line, trying to get out in front of that 135, securing that 4th place position right now, and trying to stay within the rear view of the number 90 of Johnny Eckert. He stays close as he possibly can here. Lap 59 of 134 here. We are just about to that halfway point here, folks. And racing here has been intense all the way through. All of these drivers are doing a fantastic job trying to do everything in their power, in these cars' power, to do whatever they possibly can to put on a win here tonight. And everyone is doing a fantastic job of doing just that. Right now, if you are looking on screen, Matthew Weeks in the number 2 machine in 7th place currently. You can see he's got a little bit of distance between himself and the number 7 of Michael Vandermeed, who's just in front of him in 6th place currently. He's going to have to get a little bit more speed to catch up and be able to put a little bit more pressure here. But all of these guys here, if you look, are all almost in single file. You can see Michael Vandermeed going a little bit wide here, going into, I believe that was turn 3 and 4. And there he goes. Matthew Weeks trying to get below Michael Vandermeed. As he noticed, Michael was going a little bit wide there for a few turns. Matthew capitalizing on that, taking 6th place, doing a fantastic job. He's up 6 positions from where he started today. So he is going to be, out of the 3 members, Mountain Man Motorsports, Matthew Weeks is going to be the only one in the top 5, or rather the top 10. And I believe the other 2, Zach Rogers and Robert Hill Jr., are actually not in the race anymore. Actually, nope, that is incorrect. Zach Rogers, they are both still in the race. They're both still racing, trying to do whatever in their power. Zach Rogers in 32nd and Robert Hill Jr. in 33rd. So right now, both of these guys are going to be cheering on Matthew Weeks, hoping that he continues to push as hard as he is doing as well as he is doing right now. As there is quite the battle forming up here in the front of the field. We start to go too wide. The 23, you saw there getting a little bit wobbly there for just a moment. Mike Husby falling back now all the way to 8th place. That's going to cost him dearly. Now he's going to have to see if he's going to be able to catch up to these guys. Let's see what he can do there. Ron White in the number 27, Team Dodge. It's going to be in 7th place, holding off Mike Husby, but I say holding off, but that's hardly defending. At this point, these guys are just driving, trying to extend the life of their cars as long as possible. We are just about to that halfway point as well. Actually, I believe we are just past it, if I'm not mistaken. And we we actually have a new leader out in the front of the race right now as well. Elliot Henderson with 2.511 Racing in the number 37 machine, now leading this race here. Doing a great job. And Johnny Eckert, it seems like, falling back all the way to 5th place. And I'm curious to know how exactly that happened. It seemed like Johnny was starting to get a little bit of a lead here, and eventually just doesn't seem like it worked out in his favor. So now he has Elliot Henderson leading this race. Brandon Barkuski in 2nd place, just behind the number 37. You can see there as well, Will Barbagalata in the 135. That green Interstate battery machine just behind him. So the field up front has changed ever so slightly, with really only the leading driver changing up here. And just looking here at Johnny Eckert, who has fallen back. And come to think of it, actually, we did see Johnny Eckert come back here into 5th place. We just didn't seem to put 2 and 2 together, but that doesn't seem to be putting Johnny Eckert exactly out of the picture here. He's still fighting, trying to be as aggressive as he can without overusing his car. At the moment, that number 90 is still looking fantastic. Very, very fast machine that he's got there. It's just a matter of is he going to be able to take advantage of the draft that's in front of him, that's now forming with the 135, Will Barbagalata. And he's going to try and fall just behind that 135, get some of that draft and see if he's going to be able to do so. And now we have the 25 of Brandon Barkuski going a little wide there as well, going into turn 1. Coming out of turn 2, though, it seems like he fixed that. And now we're still racing here. You can see most of our drivers gone single file, just trying to stay in that draft, trying to conserve tires as long as they possibly can. Looking back just a little bit further in the field as well, in 15th currently, Tyler Evans in the number 77 is doing a fantastic job for Cornerstone Motorsports, as he has had quite a handful of drivers around him there for just a moment, and there's still a number of drivers building up behind him, closing in. So again, trying to find your spot on the track, trying to find a good spot to maintain draft and stay quick. And it's going to be important in a race like this. Lap 73 of 134. We're closing it, getting there. We're getting to that point, but there's still a long race left to go here. There's still quite a bit of time left before we see that checkered flag come out. We see the end of the race. Right now you can see on your screen the 77, Tyler Evans, will be trying to take this low line here around the 14 of Brad Delph. He's going to be able to make it work here. He had Lane Doyle in the 32 just behind him, putting a little bit of pressure, and then backed way off. It still looks like he's backing off for just a moment. Not sure what's going on there. But the 77 able to get around Brad Delph. Now he's in 13th currently, up 13 positions from where he started. So great work here from Tyler Evans in that number 77. Just slowly working his way through the field, through the grid, trying to get up as high as he possibly can before we see the end of the race here. Lap 75, 134. Still could possibly see some drivers come down pit road before the end of the race. I'm almost certain that we will. But it's just a matter of when. At that point, I am a little uncertain. But if I was guessing, man, if I had to bet, going off of the last caution lap that we had, let me find when that was. So that would have been lap 53. And most of the drivers here have still, their last pit lap was lap 31. There's a good chance that we might have some, but I think that most of these guys are going to be okay. They might be able to extend it the entire race without having to pit, being that most of these guys took that chance the first time around. I could be wrong though. There might be some drivers that want to come down pit road. They can get a little top off on fuel a little bit to make sure that they're able to finish the race. But we'll see here. We'll keep an eye on that and we'll see how some of those guys are doing here. And looking on the track map here as well, you can see the field is doing a fantastic job of staying fairly close to one another. And just want to touch as well, Matthew Weeks in the number 2 machine, Mountain Man Motorsports, making it all the way up into first place. Elliott Henderson in 37, now in second. Matthew, an absolute madman, working his way up into first place, now going to be leading this race in front of Elliott Henderson with 2.511 Racing. And the field behind them is starting to thin out just a little bit, you can see. And I say thin out, but I mean in the sense that these guys are single file and the space between them is starting to get a little bit higher and higher. And you can see, especially on the timing tower as well, the difference between all these guys and what sort of times they're setting here. So right now it seems like the top 3 are sort of silently changing on their own. It's definitely not something we can easily predict. It looks like Andrew McGronigle might be looking to take a stab at getting out in front here and taking the lead. It looks like he's got a little bit of draft here as well. He's gaining speed pretty quickly here on the 37 of Elliott Henderson. I'm curious to see if he's going to be able to make a pass here relatively soon. If not in the next lap or next few turns. We'll just have to wait and see though, and keep an eye on how that develops. But looking back, in 6th place, Johnny Eckert in 6th place. He's behind the 27 of Ron White. And if you were watching a little bit earlier and they're just tuning in, Johnny Eckert was leading this race for some time and found himself down here in 6th place. Now he's having to work his way back through the field to get up to the top 3 here, but there's going to be quite the challenge once he passes both Ron White and then finally 135 of Will Barbalata. That is going to be quite the challenge indeed for Johnny Eckert here. But right now he's looking to just compete as best as he possibly can, with the 23 of Mike Husby on his tail as well. The 23 of Mike Husby, another driver who has done a fantastic job here. Mike is racing his first time here not as a backup driver. So he is racing for himself, for his own points. And looking rather fantastic up here in the top 10, trying to crack himself into the top 5. And it looks like, speaking of cracking the top 5, Ron White and now Johnny Eckert going to be taking the low line around the 135 of Will Barbagalata. Take Johnny Eckert now in 5th place. And it looks like if Mike Husby can reciprocate, yes he is. He reads the same line that everyone else is taking around that 135 and manages to get around him. Johnny Eckert getting into the wall for just a moment, has a little bit of an episode. He's not able to maintain speed as Mike Husby works his way around him, and speak of the devil, the 135 of Will Barbagaleta makes his way around him as well. Radburn Shutters was trying to look on that inside and maybe make a pass around Johnny Eckert, but Johnny said, nope, not today. Definitely didn't want to get past here again after making a critical mistake like that, where you're just being slowed down by just a few miles an hour. That can cost you nearly fractions of a second can add up. Every millisecond matters in racing. Johnny's going to be struggling a little bit for that, trying to recoup from that loss. Right now, Brandon Markuski, another driver that we have seen up in the front of the field. And speaking of drivers working their way into pit road, Matthew Weeks, Elliot Henderson, Alex Penn, Randy Bonami, Rad Delph have all worked their way into pit road. To get a few things taken care of here as well. So we're going to see some drivers getting on those fresher set of tires. Lap 90 of 134 as, and there we go. You can see a bunch of drivers making their way down into pit road. And it seems like I was going to be correct if I would have made my assumption earlier. About lap 90 was about the window I was half expecting to see some of these guys take here tonight. You can obviously see Andrew McGonigal, who his last pit lap was 54. So he's still got some time left on those tires. He's still got plenty of fuel left. He might even be able to extend it all the way to the end of the race. Possibly. I might be wrong on that one, but for everyone else that was out on track since lap 31, definitely was finding themselves a little bit probably low on fuel and maybe wanting to change some tires here, but I don't think that anyone did take tires. It looks like most of the drivers just took fuel. Right now, Andrew McGonigal is now going to be leading this race here with Davis Warren behind him. Davis Warren, excuse me, in the number 70 machine in second place. There's lap traffic now involved in this kind of final shootout, final 40 laps, if you will, here at Texas Speedway. And it's going to be quite interesting to see how this field integrates back into each other and how we see the leaders start to duke it out here once again. Davis Warren is going to have a little bit of challenge to try and catch up to Andrew McGonigal and be able to put the pressure on that number 94, but we're going to see exactly how that's going to play out here now that we have kind of cars all over the place at the moment. There's a lot of different action going on here. And most drivers here are going to be a lap down until we see Andrew McGonigal or Davis Warren coming down pit road, which, given, oh man, they might be right on might be coming down pit road here pretty soon, actually. We'll see. I'm going to say about maybe 110, 120. We'll see Andrew McGonigal and Davis Warren come down pit road. But they're also going to be on older tires. Everyone else here just came down pit road at 89. So a lot of these guys are going to be on those fresher tires. They're going to be quite fast. And if I'm not mistaken, Michael Vandermeer is going to be one of those drivers who we're going to be looking at here for just a second. He's by himself currently in that number 7, at least on the track. He's got a driver out in front of him currently, the 65, John Simpson Jr. You can see Michael Vandermeer taking the low line, trying to get himself into the top 10, and he does. You can see just how fast he is as well than everyone else on the track. The 25 you can see there, Brandon Barkuski, who also pitted him on the same lap. Doesn't seem to be quite as fast as well. It could have just been we found a better line, and Brandon wasn't to maintain that same line as quickly. But Michael Vandermeer trying to do everything in his power to work his way up to now the seemingly so distant Ron White. Looks like Kyle Hall now making his way into pit road as well. And Ron White in the number 27 machine is going to be in 8th place currently. With Team Dodge looking to try and get closer and closer to the front of the pack here as he can, but right now it looks like we have gap times right now from Ron White to Johnny Eckert, who's in 7th place, just above Ron. It's going to be just over a second gap, and to Will Barbagalata in 6th place is nearly second and 3/4. Quite the distance that Ron White here is going to have to close, and that's just how much this field here is starting to spread until we see more of these drivers coming down pit road. And speaking of drivers coming down pit road, Andrew McGonigal was one of them. Now coming out of pit road, joining the field here once again. So right now, Davis Warren in the number 70 machine, as well as Casey Carrington in the number 9, are both going to be the only 2 drivers that are still on older tires that are on the lead lap. So how quickly we're going to see these 2 come down pit road? Well, that's a good question. I couldn't exactly tell you, but right now it looks like the 87 is wanting to unlap himself. That's going to be Kyle Hall with the Spirit of Daytona Racing team. Take the outside line around Davis Warren and try and get himself unlapped just a little bit more. He's going to be down, I believe, 2 or 3 laps at the moment, so any time gained back is always a good thing. Passing the leader definitely always has to feel pretty good, even if you are down the lap. But Davis Warren is now going to feel a little bit of that pressure as he's getting passed constantly. You're seeing it on your screen currently. He has drivers making moves around him constantly, and if he doesn't do something about it soon, he's going to have Casey Carrington to worry about here pretty shortly. Right now, between himself and Casey Carrington, the number 9 machine is about 9 seconds away, but that gap is still closing. And we're still waiting to see as well when these guys are going to pit, what their decision is going to be when they do that. So there's kind of a ball being thrown in the air here. I'm not exactly sure where it's going to where it's going to land. Victoria Harper in the chat giving a shout out to McGonigal. Shout out to the number 94 of Andrew McGonigal. Currently in 11th place at the moment. Who we actually saw Andrew out in the front of the field doing some impressive work there for a little while, and unfortunately found himself back here having to work his way back up the field. And being out in the position that he's in with just dirty air all around him, having to work through all that air all on his lonesome, it's definitely a difficult thing. Try and catch back up to the rest of the field and be an effective driver in the series, but part of what happens here in racing. Lap 106 of 134. We are getting closer and closer to the end of our race here tonight. And these drivers are going to have less and less time to find themselves in a spot to take away a podium position if they are seeking to do so. And right now, checking back in with people wanting to take away a podium, Davis Warren is one of them, and right now he's getting a little bit of pressure from the 57 of Zach Rogers of Mountain Man Motorsports. Trying to work his way around the leader here. Zach Rogers is now going to unlap himself one more lap. And I still got to wonder, when are these guys gonna see that? And right now, it looks like Mike Husby is closing the gap between himself and the number 9 of Casey Carrington very quickly, and he's got Elliot Henderson right on his tail as well, providing a little bit of draft support. Let's ride on board very quickly here and see just how these drivers are working together. And speaking of which, Davis Warren now coming down pit road. So now we're going to see a change of hand for the front of the field. But we are going to hop on board with 37 of Elliot Henderson, who's now second place behind Mike Husby in the 23. And we are going to listen to the sounds of the 37. Watch how Elliott takes it around Texas. Elliot Henderson now taking the lead from Mike Husby. Taking it away once again. Elliot Henderson is going to find himself with nearly just over a quarter second of the lead here. And Mike Husby is now followed behind not Johnny Eckert, that is the number 70 of Davis Warren, who has now found himself unlapped and trying to catch back up to the front of the field here. but he's going to have a long way to do so here. 22 laps left to go here. We are getting closer and closer to seeing that checkered flag fly and determining who our race winner is going to be for today. And just looking through the field, you can see just where everyone is, you know. You can see as well on the bottom of your screen, we have almost got drivers on every part of the track at this point, with how far spread out a lot of this field has gotten. 21 laps left to go here. There's really not a whole lot of opportunity for that to change without having some sort of yellow flag come out. I don't think a lot of these drivers here want to see that happen, and I know that I certainly don't. It's definitely a frustrating thing as a driver when you are in a lead position or just in a points battle, whatever, what have you, and having to restart, it definitely can throw you through the ringer. It can definitely put you in a tough spot mentally where you know that you have to perform a certain way. You have to place in a certain spot in order to get so many points, or to do this or to do that, and it can be tough sometimes, but a lot of these guys are very talented and they know exactly what to do. And at the end of the day, a lot of these leagues, a lot of these races are just for fun. Some of them are for, they might offer money, prizes, and things of that nature, but at the end of the day, it's still just for fun, and we're all here to have a good time and just race together and enjoy being in a league and having all these great events. And we had a car sideways on the back stretch, but it doesn't look like we are going to have a caution come of it. We're going to keep things green here with 18 laps left to go. 17 now as our leaders cross the line. It looks like someone got a little bit too close to one another possibly, or too close to the wall coming out of turn 2. Back in 6th place, Michael Vandermeed with Lodo Racing in the number 7. He's going to be defending his position from Brandon Barkuski in the 25. Again, another driver, Brandon, that we saw start out in the front of the field towards the beginning of the race and was just not able to keep it out there, as problems just seem to find a lot of the drivers that wanted to lead this race here today. It's been uncertain ever since, and right now Elliot Henderson is seemingly the driver to beat at this point. With 15 laps left to go here, Elliot Henderson in the 37 machine, going to start to see the rear end of some of the lap traffic that we have been expecting to see all night long here. Mike Husby on the tail of that 37 is going to be trying to close that gap here before we see the end of the race. The checkered flag come out, and the race winners determined. Right now, Elliot Henderson is pushing that car extremely well, doing a fantastic job trying to keep it out in front of that 23, but Mike Husby is just ever slowly chipping away at that gap, getting closer and closer to Elliot Henderson. Andrew McGronigal, Johnny Eckert, both 3rd and 4th respectively, be chasing each other as they try to chase down the top 2 drivers here currently. With only 13 laps left to go here, it's going to take us definitely a miracle, I think, to be able to pull something off that aggressive. But we will see how that's going to play out here. With only 12 laps left to go here, anything is possible. There is definitely a lot of opportunity for anything to happen here. Brandon Barkuski taking a position from Michael Vandermeer in the number 7, working his way up into 5th place. And Brandon has been on the battle, been on the fight to get up into the front of the field, opting to take the high line here around and seemingly moving up that 5th place position to Michael Vandermeer once again as Michael takes that low line, attempting to stick it out in front of Brandon Barkuski to secure it, but Brandon putting up a fight, not letting him get it that easy. And there he goes, Michael Vandermeer. A little bit more speed coming into the straight on the back stretch. Able to get a little bit more speed. 11 laps left to go here. Things are going to be windows for opportunities to get a position are going to be closing here very, very soon for guys that have been fighting their way through the grid this entire race. 10 laps left to go here. Elliot Henderson and Mike Husky still duking it out in the front of the field here. Ooh, we see all the way back here Johnny Eckert getting sideways there, or almost seemed sideways there for just a minute. We see also as well Casey Carrington, number 9 machine, also getting rather close to the number 90 there for just a second. It seemed like it was also quite the distance, so not too sure what happened there, but we're still racing. He's doing a fantastic job, and Johnny Eckert all the way in 4th place currently with just Casey behind him. Johnny's gonna have about 2 seconds of a gap between himself and Elliot Henderson. And I'd say if he wants to catch up to those guys, he's going to need more than 8 laps. He might be able to catch up before then, or maybe at the last lap he might be able to catch up. But I don't know if that's exactly going to be possible here. Only 8 laps left to go here, folks. Everything is going to be winding down here very, very quickly and very shortly, with only 7 laps to go as we cross the checkered line. Right now, everyone is trying to do whatever they possibly can, and Christopher Heller in the number 11 machine is trying to hold out his 7th place position from Ron White in the 27. So you can see, no matter where you are in the field, you're still wanting to get whatever position you can. That is something that you always want to do as a racer. So Christopher Heller is going to lead it out in front of Ron White now and just try and increase that gap here. 6 laps left to go here. That's about all you can do at this point. Just hold on to your steering wheel and keep it green. Definitely don't want to make a mistake this late in the race with only this many laps left. Everyone here doing a fantastic job. You can see that was Michael Vandermeer working his way around some lap traffic. 195 of Randy Bonami. Laps left to go here, folks, and everything is starting to shape up and look like it's going to be, well, an intense battle for first place, as it looks like Elliot Henderson and Mike Husby are both going to be now side by side. 4 laps left to go here. We have the 23 of Mike Husby down on the bottom line, coming out of turn 2 down the back stretch. Or excuse me, that was the front stretch. My apologies. And there he goes. Mike Husby able to gain the lead with Andrew McGonigal now in second place. He's going to be on the bottom side of Elliot Henderson. Oh, and there he goes. That's going to leave Elliot in third place now. And that's how quickly the lead has changed for these drivers up here in the front of the field. And now it's going to be up to Elliot Henderson to do everything in his power to see if he's going to be able to get that first place position back. And now he's got Andrew McGonigal out in front of him. 2 laps left to go here. There's not hardly any time left here to make any maneuvers here. And speaking of people making maneuvers, Andrew McGonigal is not done yet. He still wants to make a move on Mike Husby in that number 23. And you can see that 94 trying to find any sort of line around that 23 of Mike. Final lap here at Texas Motor Speedway. Who is going to take away the win tonight? Is it going to be Mike Husby, or is Andrew McGonigal going to try and send it and get that finish, get that first place? It's the final lap here at Texas, and Mike Husby is going to take it away for the win. First place here at Texas Motor Speedway, Andrew McGonigal in second place. Oh, and Elliot Henderson in third as he sends the 94 sideways down onto the front end of the track. That is going to conclude our race here for the BOOSTPerformance.ca 200 here at Texas Motor Speedway, the All-American ARCA Series. We are going to get ready for our post-race interviews here as well. Right, and your unofficial race results are on screen as well. All right, folks, and we are going to start getting our driver interviews ready. Elliot Henderson is going to be our first driver up, the number 37 with 2511 Racing. Elliot, sir, do you have a read?
I absolutely do.
Elliot, you guys in 2511 had quite the race here tonight. Elliot, I have to say the 37 was looking pretty good. We had quite a few drivers here that were looking very good, and then we saw a few that fell off due to either just crashes out on track or just weren't finding the right pace. But just over time, that 37 started to look more and more promising. Did you guys practice a lot here, or what was the case here tonight?
I actually hate this track. I didn't put in a whole lot of effort because I didn't anticipate to come out here and finish well. But I don't know. The way the setup was actually really good for me. We ran like one official here last week, and I ran poorly because it was like really tight and wore out tire really quickly. But tonight it didn't really do that. Right front was anywhere from 49 to 60 for me for every run that we did. So the rear tires were just not hooked up super well, and that to me is more fun to race with, and I can handle that better. I think my strategy just went wrong when I decided to pit when Matthew pit. I should have if I'd have pit a couple laps after Mike, I think I would have had enough tire to be able to stay ahead of him or race with him there in that group that they had. But unfortunately, we made the wrong pit call, I think, tonight, which is what cost us the win. But we'll take top 3 for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. It definitely hurt to see the 37 getting passed for first place like that, but being able to stick it out and hold it for a third place. Now that I know that you weren't a big fan of this track here, Elliot, I gotta ask you, what are your thoughts going into next week, and what are your expectations for next week?
Oh, well, that's the opposite. I love Miami, so we're gonna go in there hoping for 2 spots better and running up front again. Hopefully, a good qualifying effort will help us out too, because tonight wasn't really great. 14th starting spot wasn't ideal, so. We'll see how Miami goes. I always like that track. It's a fun track. I think it's typically multi-groove, so we should be able to have some fun, unlike tonight where you really only had the bottom working in. So definitely expect to have a similar showing. Hopefully we can go out there and polish this season off with a win, but if not, another top 3 will do us justice and show them that we were here this season despite some of the bad luck we've had.
Absolutely, Elliot. Well, thank you for coming out here and speaking with me tonight. It's a pleasure talking with you. Now, before I let you go and celebrate your third place finish for tonight, is there anyone at home or anyone watching the broadcast that you'd like to give a shout out to or thank before I let you go?
Yeah, as always, Christopher Heller, Brandon Burkowski, part of 2511 Racing, Casey Carrington, Robert Hill, everyone that runs this league, Kyle Hall, that makes this what it is. It's a really fun series and a lot of stout individuals. I don't know where Mike Husby came from. I don't remember that name earlier this season, but he's definitely shown up in the last few races he's been in. He's definitely been a force. So pleasure racing with him. We swapped a spot back and forth earlier in the race, and we're super clean about it. So no qualms there. Dude's really good. I've had fun with Andrew at Richmond and stuff like that. So good talent in this league. And, thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast and making us look all good on TV and let us have some fun and be able to rewatch this back. But that'll about do it, man.
Awesome. Thank you again, Elliot. Enjoy the rest of your night, and look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you, as well.
All right, everyone. That's Elliot Henderson in the 37 out of the booth with 2511 Racing. Up next, Andrew McGronigal in the number 94. Andrew, sir, do you have a read?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty good, Andrew. It looks like you had quite the excellent race here yourself. How was it out there for you, Andrew?
Oh man, it was a lot of fun. Good clean racing up in the front, which is expected. I had a lot of fun today.
Absolutely, it looked like it was a lot of fun on track. Now we had a couple incidents, couple cautions towards the beginning of the race, but it seems like the field got it worked out, sorted out, and worked out the kinks eventually. And for the 94 machine, I gotta say, Andrew, there was a lot of uncertainty, at least for myself in the booth, as far as who I could pick and choose who was going to finish where in the race. The 94 was always there, though, in the front of the pack. I saw you kind of fall back a little bit for some time. I think it was towards I want to say about the 3/4 mark in the race, and you worked your way back and took home a P2. How does that feel for you tonight, man?
Oh, it's a good feeling to actually finally finish one of these, man. I run up a top 7 almost every week, and some yo-yos out there, and they seem to clean themselves out at the beginning of this race, and look what happened. We had a nice green flag run to the end. Feels good. Feels real good. Saved a set of tires, what I thought it would have been needed, which finally we had a green flag pit stop that went to the end, saved a set, and was able to drive up to the front there. Probably should have pitted maybe 2 laps earlier. Gave up too much time there. Tried to make it up at the end. It was a good race overall.
Yeah, absolutely it was, and great job to you, Andrew. Now, before I let you go here tonight and celebrate, is there anyone at home, anyone watching that you want to give a shout out to or thank before you head out tonight?
Yeah, I gotta thank my fiance Tori for letting me do this. I'm out here in Arizona, so we don't celebrate daylight savings time, so it's Friday at 8 o'clock, and she's willing to sit on the couch instead of going out on date night. So I got to thank her, and then my parents home are watching, and I think my grandfather is as well. Wish him a happy birthday today as well.
Awesome. Well, happy birthday to your folks at home. Andrew, thank you for coming out into the booth and having a chat with me tonight, and congratulations on your second place finish. And hopefully you get to have the same conversation with you or similar next week.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Mason. Thank you for filling in this weekend.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. It's always great being here with you guys. Have a good night, Andrew.
Thank you.
All right, Andrew McGronigal in the number 94 out of the booth. Last but certainly not least, the independent driver Mike Husby making his debut race here tonight. Mike, sir, do you have a read?
Yes, I'm here.
Mike, you had your first race that was for yourself, essentially. You were not a fill-in driver today. Everyone that I talked to so far has mentioned that Mike has been quite the contender here. How are you feeling after finishing out first place for this race here tonight?
Actually, I was really impressed with how I ran in practice on Wednesday night, as well as how I ran today. Actually, in qualifying, I wasn't expecting the pole, so to have an opportunity to start on the pole and then run top 5 most of the race, it was pretty fun. I also did get back there a couple of times early in the race, around like the first quarter, I guess. And like I just told myself, basically just like stay calm and you'll eventually work your way back to the front, and that's how it all played out.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a feeling that the long run strategy was going to be the one to win the race here, and there was a few drivers that seemed like they had it in the bag. Yourself, Johnny Eckert. There's another driver here that I'm missing here. Brandon Barkowski was another driver that was also looking very promising. But yeah, Mike, you definitely look very solid out there, staying out in front as long as you possibly could, and not abusing that car and keeping it clean for the majority of the time. Now, I gotta ask you, Mike, going into next week, what are your expectations there? Going into Florida, what are you thinking? Now that you've got a win in your belt, you going to be a little bit more confident, or are you still going to have a little bit of skepticism?
Well, the big thing obviously is figuring out what line works the best around that track. I'm not sure if like I haven't run on it since they updated the that particular track in the last 2 years or so. So it'll be like an all new experience just about. The last time I ran on it was a very low line, like sensitive track. So if it's not like that, then the high line might be the one to run in. I'm normally pretty like decent at Homestead, so basically I'm just gonna look for like a solid top 10 run. If we can get anything better than that, then it'll be a win for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. And if you continue the same strategy that you did here, just saving that car and trying to stay out in the long run as long as possible, yeah, I can see that 23 being in the same position next week. Mike, thank you for coming out here and talking with me, and congratulations on your first place finish and your first win here with All American ARCA. Before I let you go here and celebrate, Mike, is there anyone at home or anyone watching that you want to give a shout out to or thank before you go head out tonight?
Yeah, just wanted to say thank you guys, obviously, for broadcasting. Jeckert for the opportunity. Johnny Eckert, I call him Jeckert. That's his nickname, I guess. But Robert Hill, obviously, for all the support over the years. Also, obviously, this was supposed to be a sub tonight, but Zach was able to make it in. So thanks for him being away, actually, to give me all these opportunities in this really fast 23 car. We've actually finished second, first, and first the last 3 weeks with this car, so let's keep it rolling.
Absolutely. Congratulations again, Mike, and I look forward to seeing you next week. And good luck in your future endeavors, Mike, and hopefully we get to have the same conversation next week at Florida.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. All right, that's Mike Husby out of the booth in the number 23 machine. That's going to wrap up our post-race interviews and finish up our race here tonight with All-American ARCA for the BOOSTPerformance.ca 200 here at Texas Motor Speedway. My name is Mason Heimball with Team Goon Squad, bringing you tonight's action. 1080p 60 frames a second. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you would like to support Team Goon Squad and All American ARCA all in one go, head on over to teamgoonsquad.com and check out our merchandise store, where we have a few different items, both Team Goon Squad and All American ARCA related, as well as the some of the other leagues that we broadcast for here at Team Goon Squad. Pick up any of those merch items for All American ARCA, and 50% of the profit will go right back to the league to support future endeavors. It is a small way for us to support the leagues that we work with and continue to do the excellent racing that we see here week in and week out. Again, thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you all enjoyed. And if you did, tune in next week. Same time, same place. And I will see you all in the next one.